Hi, welcome everybody to the Public Speakers Association Mindset Reset Summit. I'm Carrie Vanston, the Alligator Angler, and I'm so excited to be a guest hosting today with Jason Antelek, our PSA CEO, being my backup person. Please feel free to ask questions or make comments in the chat boxes. Jason is going to be following those. Today we have 5 wonderful speakers, about 10 minutes speaking each, about how to reset your mindset during these crazy times. We have a great program for you. So let's welcome Katrina Sawa.
Hi, everyone. All right, so I'm so excited to be here. And what can I pack into a 10-minute? Well, let me tell you a little bit about when I first became an entrepreneur. People ask me this all the time. How did you get started, Katrina? And the behind the scenes story was that I was married to my first husband, and we'd been married for about 6.5 years, and I decided to start a business. I actually just kind of told my boss off because I don't know about you, but I am not meant for the corporate world. And there was way too many untruths. It was just not a good place to be. There was too many people saying one thing and doing the other. And that's what my last boss was like. And I finally just said, I had enough, I'm out. And that is the day I started my business. And it was a very much a roller coaster of cash flow the first few years, as you might expect, and maybe you've experienced as an entrepreneur. My husband at the time, though, was not a fan of that. And he just kept urging me to get a job. Why don't you just go back and get a job? Get another job, steady income, get a job, salary, right? And I was like, no, this is what I'm meant to do. I really love what I'm doing. He didn't at the time bother to come to an event or where I was speaking, come to a networking event and meet some of my entrepreneur friends. He didn't really even know what I did as a marketing and a business coach at the time. And this was 18.5 years ago, mind you, okay? And after a couple of years of not being supported and living more like roommates at that point, because we just weren't seeing eye to eye on what we wanted. And I believed there was so much more possible. And he was the stay, let's even keel, let's have a job and go to work, come home, drink beer, eat dinner, go to bed, go to work, come home, drink beer, eat dinner, go to bed. And I was like, there's more for me than that. And so I had to make the decision, the very hard decision, to go out on my own, single income again, as an entrepreneur on a roller coaster of cash flow. And I did it because I knew there was more for me. And I knew that if I stayed in this marriage, I would just continue to be unhappy. So I had to stop settling for a relationship that was not serving me any longer, and someone who was not fully supportive of me and my dreams and my new dreams. They'd changed since we got married. That happens, right? Sometimes we change directions. We change how we're thinking. We change what we want sometimes when we're in our lives. Hello, I was at the time 35 years old. And I thought, oh God, I have to go back into the dating world. That sounded horrible. And I didn't have any kids. We had a dog and a cat, and I luckily got the dog and he got the cat. I got the better end of the deal. That dog lasted until he was 14 years old. He was like my 14-year-old teenager. And that was my baby, and that was my life. I went into a lot of online dating scene, and I won't even get into that story, but don't settle for the wrong guy. So I called it sorting, this online dating, sorting to find the perfect guy for me, right? It took a little while. It took about 6 years to find the perfect guy for me. But in that time, another thing that I realized I was settling for was I had some negative, toxic people in my life, one of which was my dad. And my dad, although he loved me, they'd been divorced, my parents, since I was 5, and I would only see him maybe once a year or something. He lived in Southern California, and I'm in Northern California. And he didn't make an effort very much. And when I did see him, he'd be like, oh, it's great to see you. I'm so proud of you, but how come you haven't fixed that crooked teeth yet? Or he'd say, oh, it's so great to see you, but how come you haven't lost the extra weight yet? I'm like, really? Like, that's what you're going to say to me when you only see me once a year? He had a hard life, and he had a hard time being single. but he took it out on me at some point, to some extent, and it didn't make me feel very well. And so, you know, he passed in 2007, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I was free of these toxic people in my life at that point. That was a couple of years after I had gotten divorced. And I realized, oh, wow, I am on my own. I mean, I can decide who I want to hang out with, who I want to do things with, who I want to work with me in my company, who I want to go to events with or date or whatever. And it was a very freeing part of my life to be able to decide and not settle for crappy people in my life. So my first thought for you is make sure that you look at all of your surroundings and those people that you are hanging out with or spending the majority of your time with, and see if there's somewhere that you might not be fully supported. And first, of course, you want to have conversation and try to rectify the situation before just like cutting them out of your life or whatever. But if it's not going to work, I have 2 clients, for example, who are in the middle of really messy divorces right now, but they're going to be for the better. They really are, because those significant others of my clients they're not nice. They're not nice to my clients, and nobody deserves that. Everybody deserves to be loved and appreciated. And I just want to, and so I'm hoping for a speedy divorce for them so that we could get on the other side of that and we can really help them live the life that they truly desire, right? And so my message to you today is, it really is simple. It's stop settling for crappy people, toxic people. Figure out how to put a bubble around yourself if you do have to live with them or see them occasionally, right? Family members, put a bubble. Try not to talk to them about the things that you know set you off if they interject their opinions, right? Try to figure out. I have some friends from my before entrepreneur days that I don't see very often, because every time that I see them, they're like, wah, 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 wah. Like, oh my God, the complainers. Like, right? So I don't want to be around complainers. Now I hang out with PSA, with other women's groups, and I don't hang around complainers. And if there's a group of people where there's a whole bunch of complainers, I'm done with that group. I'm moving on to a different group. So whether you are in, you know, there's somebody in your life personally, or there's clients maybe that you might be settling for because you need the money. I think it's so much better to release the negativity in your life, whether it's a paying client. There's plenty of paying clients out there that could potentially work with you, okay? And maybe you're not freeing up the space to work with them because you're with this crappy client that doesn't appreciate you, doesn't value you. And I've had a couple of those too in the past. They've slipped in under the radar. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that's when you raise your rates. Oh, sorry, I'm raising my rates. And you raise them way out of what you know they're going to want to pay. And you say, look, this is my new rate. I'm sorry, if you don't want to work, it's okay, I got it. Or maybe here's a couple other people that might be able to serve you better. You know, introduce them to some other people that do what you do. I just want to encourage you to, life is too short, right? I'm 50 now, turning 51. I turned 50 in COVID, which is not a fun time to have a big birthday celebration. So I can't wait till I can really have a celebration. It'll probably be 52 before I can do that. But life's too short. What if I live until I'm 100? Like my mom's ex-mother-in-law, well, not ex, she died, but she lived until she was 98 years old, for God's sakes. And she was kicking it the whole time. She was just like a little speed demon in her little, you know, her wheelchair or whatever, her electronic wheelchair. She had makeup and jewelry on every day. It was just amazing. You know, I want to live a happy life with happy, supportive people, with positivity and love around me. And I want you to live the same, because we all deserve it. And we shouldn't settle at all, anywhere, anytime, for people who treat us like crap, don't support us, say one thing and do the other. Like, oh, I support you, but you should go get a job. That's not supportive, right? So just think about that when you're looking through your life or going through your life, whether it's professional relationship or a personal relationship, or maybe you're in a job that you hate. Get out of it as soon as possible. What happens if something happens and you can't do what you really want because something physical happens to you or someone you love? don't wait any longer. Let it go, move on to the thing you really are meant to do, and it's okay to change your mind. So that's what I wanted to share today. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you want more information on, not settling and getting straight with the toxic people in your life, I do have a book called Love Yourself Successful. And it's a great book for anybody, man or woman, to help you get more confidence and to go after what you really want.